Over 500 bracket racers from all across the United States has gathered here in Bristol, Tennessee, the legendary Thunder Valley for the K&N Spring Fling 20s presented by Sparco. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ted Jones, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to bring you action from the biggest drag race in the world that involves nothing but ET bracket cars. As I said, over 500 of them here. They have 4 days of racing. Now, this race is put on by 2 sportsman drag racers, ET bracket racer Kyle Seipel and NHRA Superstock champion Peter Biondo. To find out more about this race and the battle they're having with the weather this weekend, we call up first with Kyle Seipel.
You know, we had some inclement weather, Ted, and we made some adjustments to where everything on the flyer from top to bottom, from the winner's purse to the third round winner's purse, was all doubled. So it's $40,000 to win, $400 for a third round win, along with all the round prizes doubled.
We had over $38,000 worth of best losing packages at this event. So every day, every round throughout the weekend, we are looking through the stat sheets, looking for the best losing package. Within 3 minutes, we find it, we call them up, and we actually hand deliver a package, not a gift certificate, an actual product. It's pretty cool. We also have a few side events. We have an all-door car shootout, which is pretty cool. 32 cars. Steve Schmidt sponsors it this year. $7,500 to win. And we have a dragster shootout, which is actually 32 dragsters. And what I like about that is if you win, you get a dragster. If you lose, you get a dragster in the final. So the winner and runner-up gets a pick of an American or a race tech dragster.
And Sunday's event, which was $20,000 to win originally, we had such a huge turnout, Peter and I decided to add $10,000 to the purse, and it's turned into $30,000 to win.
As I said, they had a battle with the weather this weekend. However, that didn't come until late Friday. They had a nice, clean Thursday of racing. Let's pick up the action right now in the semifinals. And the Thursday semifinals would find Chelsea Spence out of Rockville, Maryland, with her undercover chassis digger going up against Charlie Patterson from Rockwood, Tennessee, 1968 body car. It's a Barracuda. Well, the reaction time goes to Chelsea with a .010. She had a dial into 639, ran dead on with a 9 at 155 mile an hour. She'll advance into the final round. The next semifinal would find Tommy Plott out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, going up against Steve Withrow. He's from Summerduck, Virginia. Good green light start, 001 for Plott as he's wired to the tree. Dialed a 630, runs a 631 with a 452 miles per hour. Withrow was dead on, but he couldn't offset that 001. You know, you find a lot of different teams here at the Spring Fling. For instance, Nicole Talbert and her Vega, and Ed Talbert. It's a father-daughter racing team. You guys are professional bracket racers. You like to bracket race?
We like to, yeah. I don't know about the professional part.
And taking a look at your car inside, typical car, what is small block?
It's small block Chevy. It's a 421 in this one.
Okay, power glide transmission.
Power glide transmission.
Wait, where's the delay box?
I don't have one.
You don't have a box?
No, no.
You're a foot brake racer.
That's right.
Are you nuts?
Probably.
You didn't take your medicine today.
That's right.
You come down here to a $250,000 race with a foot brake car.
Yeah, I'm not very bright. But
so you have a box in the daughter's car?
No.
What do you mean?
No.
You want her to run a foot brake car.
But she's good, though. She's good.
Yeah. And I understand last year you went to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I did. I got pretty lucky, yeah.
Oh, you really made a bunch of box racers mad. You know that?
Probably did, yeah. Probably did.
That's embarrassing. And a door car to beat.
That's right.
You beat dragsters with a box.
That's right.
They have a big foot brake race here. You ever do that?
Yes, I'll be here for the World Foot Brake Challenge with Jared and Steve, yeah.
Have you done that before?
Yes, I have. Actually, 2 years ago, I won the Friday night race.
Aha! Yeah. So that's why you come pick on these box races.
Yeah. I feel like
no more challenge left in foot brake. You've won that.
No, the foot brake guys are bad. Let me tell you, they're tough. They are.
Okay, so it goes to show you folks, see, anybody can run in this race. Fathers, daughters, men, women, professional bracket racers, granddaughters, yeah, even foot brake racers. I will take a look at that Thursday race final right now coming up, and that, of course, would feature Chelsea Spence, her undercover chassis digger against Tommy Plott. He has a Race Tech chassis car. Oh, Chelsea wired to the tree, 002 002 reaction time, dials a 639, runs dead on with a 7. Get this, Plot also ran dead on, but he had an 019 reaction time. We asked Chelsea, do you realize you're the first female racer to win this event?
Yes, I am. It's the first time that they've had a female ever win any of the events here.
Yeah, and you put a light on this guy, 002.
002 at the end, and I actually, when I left the reaction time, I was like, oh, that felt pretty good, and then got down there and turned the wind light on.
Now, you realize that Plot had a 001 light in the semis.
Actually, I didn't know that, so that's the first I heard of that, but when I get into the final, I thought, you know what, I've made it this far. I'm going home with money either way, so whatever happened, happened.
The Canyon Spring Fling 20s, presented by Sparco, is brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology. And by Jegs, free shipping and handling on everything. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. Welcome back to the Canyon Spring Fling 20s presented by Sparco. Well, I've caught up with another guy that is both a bracket racer and he's sponsoring something here. They have a special shootout for a very expensive set of Brodex cylinder heads, and it's between the best dragster and door car. Why'd you guys get involved?
Basically to give back to the racer. We have a large customer base that runs these type of sportsman races.
This is one of the more modern ET bracket dragsters, and let's go through this for the people at home. What is this button?
That's the Transbrake button. When we stage the car, we hold that down and it locks the transmission.
And drive and reverse at the same time?
Yeah, it locks it between gears basically, and we hold it there until the appropriate time where the top light comes on, then we release the button.
Okay, and when you release that, this takes over. What's it doing?
That's a delay box. What it does is if you're the slower car or in time trials, you leave off the first light and the tree comes down and it leaves. If you're the faster car, that box subtracts the difference between your tree and their tree and holds the car for the appropriate amount of time to leave on time.
So it actually launches the car?
Yes. Dial-in display. Back in the old days, we used to write shoe polish on the car for the appropriate dial-in. Now it's done digitally. It's easy to read.
And the other red button?
That's the burnout button. When you hold that down, you floor it in the burnout, and it brings the RPM to a preset RPM.
Like a rev limiter.
It's a rev limiter. That's basically an O2 sensor in the exhaust collector. After the run, we can download that and to see if the motor's rich or lean and adjust accordingly.
Here's a real important little black button up there.
Yep. That's a data recorder. When we stage the car, we press that, it starts recording all the data on the engine in the car. So after the run, we can look at drive shaft RPM, engine RPM, voltage, fuel pressure, oil pressure, shift points. It tells you every function that happened with the car during the run.
And folks, they don't even shift them anymore because you have a solenoid down here that actually shifts it.
Yeah, we run a 2-speed power glide transmission, and at a preset RPM, the electric solenoid engages and actually shifts the car from first to second.
Okay, and you have a parachute control.
I hope we don't have to use that. We don't pull it on every run, but it's in case of emergencies. That's a battery shutoff in the car. That's something that's come along the last couple of years. It's nice, it's a safety feature. If you have a problem, you can shut the engine down right there.
Finally, over here, you have a fuel shutoff.
We never use that. That's a safety feature also. In the event of a crash, you have to shut the fuel down immediately. You pull the shut off and it shuts the fuel from the engine.
Now, we could keep going, but I wanted to give you an idea here about how modern and how complicated these simple ET bracket dragsters are. They're not so simple anymore. Now, as we get ready to take a look at the Friday quarterfinals, they had to move the finish line. Normally they run this 1,000 foot, but they just couldn't get that shutdown dry enough, so they took the finish line back to 8th mile. Well, the racers would rather do that than have rain checks and go home. Tommy Plott, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, his 65 body car, the Mustang. Nice 0-2-0 reaction time. Taylor Sweeten, not quite as quick. Plott runs a 63 on a 62 dial, 122 miles per hour. Then came Cassie Pennington out of Texas. 565 cubic inch Chevrolet for power in that car. 0-2-9 reaction. Actually, Greg Roberts had a better reaction time, but he broke out down to 32 on a 30, so Casey will advance. Runs dead on with a 2. Then Don Buckwitz out of Perrineville, New Jersey, his Racetech chassis car. And a red light start for Troy Williams Jr., one of the former $1 million winners, and he goes red. So Dom will move on. Runs an 81 on an 84. He would have broke out. Oh, don't you know Troy is sick right now? Terrell Sinclair from Baltimore, Maryland. He'll go up against Matt Hornbuckle from Flatwoods, Kentucky. Good green light start. Sinclair the better, 0.19 to a 0.36. Dials an 81, runs an 82 with a 6. He'll advance to the semifinals. Trying to show you a little bit of all the different kind of bracket racers that come to this sensational event. This is the Team Pennington. The Pennington brothers come all the way from Three Rivers, Texas. Take a look at these beautiful 1934 Ford replicas. Now, these would be called either Super Rod or Super Gas, depending on the sanctioning body, or in this case, ET bracket. Two beautiful cars. Their family, though, has quite a history of bracket racing. I understand your dad was quite the Super Gas racer, right?
Yeah, he built 10 of these cars in 93, 94, sold all but one, and since then we've bought 2 back. He wanted all 3 of us to have one. We're one short. It's in the restoration stage right now. We should have it done sometime this year. We're kind of thinking about building another batch of 5 or 10 and maybe sell a few cars.
And you bring 4 cars?
Yes, sir. My wife drives one also.
Okay, and you guys came all the way from Texas. Why?
This is one of the best bracket races of the year, and I came last year by myself. Had a lot of fun and really did some good, so we came back for another one.
Who has to drive the digger?
Michael's wife, Cassie.
Okay, wait a minute, I got 2 drives. You get stuck with the dragster.
I'm driving the other digger.
Yeah, because you're the runt, right?
Yep. They kicked me out of the nice ones.
Yeah. Well, when they get the 3rd one done, that can be yours.
That one's mine, yep.
Well, Peeps will have to wait his turn to get one of these beautiful cars right here. Meanwhile, he's stuck with this. I wouldn't call this being stuck. This is one nice digger. We'll be back with more from Bristol after this. Welcome back to Bristol, Tennessee, our continuing coverage of the K&N Spring Fling 20s presented by Sparco. Well, there's one guy in particular we wanted to talk to. First of all, he's a body car, and this thing's kind of dominated by dragsters. Secondly, he has never missed a Spring Fling race, and we wondered why.
Oh, it's the greatest race of the year. I look forward to it from the time I leave till the next year when I come back.
Big money.
Yeah, big money. It's tough to win it, but, you know, you got to be here to win it.
And you like the way the races run, the way the races are treated?
Oh, yeah, you can't be treated any better. I mean, these guys, Peter and Kyle, put this race on, and they're racers, and they know what we like, and you feel like family, even though you don't really see them but once a year, you know.
Yeah, they understand you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they want to get the race in. They're going to try their best to do whatever it takes and make it worthwhile to come up here.
Now, last time we saw you, you were in a GTO. What happened to the GOAT?
Yeah, I raced a GTO for 3 years, but the Firebird's kind of like my lucky charm. You know, I seem to get to the winner's circle a little bit more with this car, so I thought I'd bring it up here and see what happens. It's 500 pounds lighter than a GTO, so it's a little easier on the parts and runs a little quicker and just seems to fit me a little bit better as far as the way I drive or whatever.
But you're true to Pontiac. You got a Pontiac motor in there.
Yeah, ever since I was 16 years old, I've been a Pontiac guy, and it's a 525 cubic inch motor, but it's based on the Pontiac 455 and makes about 800 horsepower, so people think it's a Chevy, but it's not. So, yeah, it runs good.
Well, Jeff's home track is up in Richmond, Virginia, where he runs top ET. It's like Super Pro, the top class, or sometimes modified, which is a foot brake class. And Jeff tells me every year he comes back here to Bristol, Tennessee to run the foot brake class. That's a whole nother race. Maybe we'll get around to covering that one of these days. Meanwhile, let's get back to more racing action up on the drags. And it's time for the semifinals of the Friday race. Let's take a look at our first pairing. Tommy Plott from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He's in the body car now, the 65 Mustang, going up against Don Bucklitz out of New Jersey. Oh, 002 for Plott, dials a 563, breaks out, 562, but the good news, so did Don. He also broke out. Dialed a 482, ran a 481. So Plott will advance into the final. Here comes Terrell Sinclair out of Baltimore, Maryland with his Miller chassis digger. He'll go up against Cassie Pennington. Oh, Cassie goes red by 002. So Sinclair will advance automatically, dial an 81. Probably saw the red light and slowed to a 484. All right, after that racing action, time to talk to one of the people that make this entire thing possible, and that is Greg Boutte from K&N Filters. 4 years you've been sponsoring this, huh?
Yes, 4 years when Peter Biondo and Kyle Seipel came to us. The vice president of the company, Steve Williams, jumped on board. He saw something in the future, which Biondo and Seipel did also, and it's worked out great since then. We sponsored our first inaugural K&N Spring Fling in Las Vegas back in April. That seemed to be even better than their first one here because we had 493 entries in our first race in Las Vegas.
The event now has a reputation. The racers know they're going to get a square shake and everything's on the up and up.
The first and foremost priority of Spring Fling is for the racers to come and have a unique experience and have a lot of fun. And we were at the time slip booth for 4.5 hours yesterday handing out prizes to the people who did not get by first round. So that's kind of unique in itself. When you hand someone something, they look up at you and like, I lost. They say, well, that's good because you still won.
That's correct, and that's one of the earmarks of this race. They have so many different prizes and so many different things going on. You don't have to win the race to come away from here a winner. Time for the final right now, the Spring Fling. On the line will be Tommy Plott. Remember, he's wired to that tree. He's going against Terrell Sinclair. Terrell, you better cut a light, buddy. This Plott is unbelievable. Oh, he does it again. 002 for Plott. He down to 562. He lifts and goes 563, 121. Congratulations, Tommy Plott. Believe me, you deserve this one, buddy. And there, Tommy Plott receiving a check for $40,000. And befittingly, you realize, folks, he's the first door car to ever win the Spring Fling. The K&N Spring Fling 20s, presented by Sparco, is being brought to you by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by B&M Racing and Performance, quality performance products that work. And by Hurst, America's #1 shifter. Welcome back to the K&N Spring Fling 20s, presented by Sparco. Another new sponsor, Wiseco, the piston people, came in this year with something unusual, a point fund.
Yes, sir. What we're doing here is we're sponsoring a points fund for the top 5 racers that may not necessarily win an event, but they may have gone the farthest. And the guys and girls here today are out there fighting, scratching round for round. And people that went the furthest, again, may not have won the race, but they're going to be awarded $5,000 on down to $500 to the 5th place. And we're just looking for a way to give back to the sportsman racer and show our appreciation for them using our products.
Yeah, you make pistons. We got a sample of them right up here. And I see rings, I see wrist pins, and rods.
Yeah, we also make crankshafts too, and basically looking to be one-stop shop for the sportsman guys and even top dragster and top sportsman. Basically, our rotating assemblies to have an affordable product with all of the high-end options you'd expect from customs.
Well, another sponsor giving back to the racer, getting involved here at the Spring Fling. All right, let's go to the Sunday semifinals now. On the line, Johnny LaBoost Jr., a former winner here from White House, Tennessee, has won the Spring Fling before. Mopar powered entry, always has been, he and his dad both. Oh, 007, LaBoost chops the tree down, dials a 496, runs a 97 with a 9 at 132. He'll advance to the final, beating Franklin D. Barlatomo out of Maryland. Next pair, Chad McKee from Milton, Tennessee. He'll be going against Shane Maddox from Piedmont, South Carolina. Starting line advantage, perfect. 0-0-0 for McKee. Oh, he'll give LaBoost plenty of trouble in the final. Runs dead on, 465 with an 8. Now, at this race, you know, a lot of professional bracket racers, some of the biggest names in bracket racing, you may not know because bracket racing doesn't get a lot of TV coverage like this, come to this event. Why? A lot of money, folks, about $250,000 plus all sorts of other bonuses given away here this weekend. So we caught up with Jason Lynch, who is one professional ET bracket racer and has a 5-car team here.
Yes, it's me and Mia Tedesco. We run for Cars Protection Plus. They're out of Pennsylvania.
But you have 5 cars here.
We both drive as much as we can, and we brought one, let a buddy of mine drive. Nick Folk drove it, so.
Increases the odds of winning.
It does, but it also increases the odds of tearing stuff up, too.
Is it hard to make a living as a professional bracket racer?
Yes, it is. It's a lot harder than it's ever been because the racing has got so tough and the cars has got so good.
But if you can do like LeBouse and win 3 days in a row, this thing.
LeBouse can make a living bracket racing. I can't do that anymore. Without the help from cars and the Tedesco family, there's no way I could do it.
What happens if you get against one of your teammates?
Hopefully I beat them.
This is the one-door car. They have 4 dragsters and 1-door car right here this weekend. Now, you know, not all the racers here are professional bracket racers. Not all of them have that much experience. As a matter of fact, we caught up with one young girl that is a 3rd-generation bracket racer.
This is my grandpa's car. He started out in the 1970s driving it.
Wow, and it was a modified production back then.
Yeah, he drove modified then.
Now it's a bracket car. How did you get started doing this?
Well, I went to my first race when I was 2 weeks old. Mom apparently drove when she was pregnant with me, so, and then I just started driving in his 56 Bel Air, and then he let me move up to this one 2 years ago.
How old are you now?
24.
Okay, so you're an old timer now.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you come to this race?
Just the atmosphere of it. It's big time racers, got small town racers too, just the competition, and you can't find competition like that.
Who is this over here?
This is my sister.
And she's famous not for drag racing, but what are those?
These are Oreo Balls.
And you make those?
Yes.
And you bring them to the races, and a lot of the racers come and eat them?
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Well, they just like them.
So it's all part of drag racing?
Yeah.
Let's get back up in the track. Indeed, we will with the final. This is going to be good. Let me tell you something. Chad McKee had that perfect 0-0-0 action time. He better put some more in the box or he's ready to go red. LeBouse, 0-0-7 in the last race. Watch this one, folks. It's going to be a good one. John LeBouse wired 0-0-3. McKee did slow it down. 0-1-6. Johnny LeBouse picks up the win, runs a 497 on a 96 dial-in. McKee was 466 on a 65. And appropriately, they change it from $20,000 to $30,000, going to a very happy John LeBouse Jr. That's his dad. John Sr. never has a shirt on. This is Ted Jones. So long, everyone. See you next year.